I feel like I'm going on fumes. I don't know why.
Are you?
So, yeah.
You want some coffee?
No, I don't drink coffee.
Do you want some tea?
No, I'm good.
Would you like a water thrown on your face?
Dudes to Dads is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying.
And we are back.
We are back.
Another week.
Another week, another dollar.
Is that how it goes?
No, but I'm, improvising.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads, a podcast about being a dude into a dad.
Into a dad.
Is that how we explain it?
I think so.
the intro explains what this whole thing is
We got
about.
the whole thing down. If you haven't listened by now you know.
You know what's funny is before we get started, we have like a little signal countdown where we say like 5, 4, and we both at the same time we're thinking the Janet Jackson countdown at the same time.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Rhythm Nation
1.
or whatever.
Yeah, Rhythm Nation.
And it was just dating ourselves as well as like how in sync our minds are.
We definitely grew up in the same exact generation. Like a lot of our musical
across
tastes.
from each other in the world.
Yeah,
or
in the country.
Yeah,
but for sure we listen to the same stuff.
That is so funny. And we were both laughing because we like knew exactly what we were talking about. It's like this hand signal 5, 4, 3, 2. Anyways,
that's awesome.
Like I said, this is Dudes to Dads, and today we are going to talk about dad stereotypes.
Okay.
And I think as I take a big sigh. Yeah. Well, part of it is I think that's a lot of the reason why Dudes to Dads is around.
Yeah.
It's to break those stereotypes. That's one reason.
That's a good point. I think that part of the impetus of you starting this group was to kind of break the stereotypes and provide information that stereotypically doesn't go to dads.
Yeah. I think it's foreign. I mean, some of the concepts of some of the things that we talk about and some of the things are just not that common in the vernacular or the thoughts of dads,
right?
Or even women thinking that dads can do that or be that or whatever. Now, of course, the whole point was to help people with the idea of becoming a dad and what that means and the parenting after, okay, I've had the kid, now what do I do?
Right.
But also this, the stereotypes that people have about dads can be damaging.
Sure.
They can be damaging. They can be, even sometimes hurtful. I don't think that's necessarily the intention, but what we try to do is break those stereotypes. So what I want to do is just list or go through a couple of stereotypes that are pretty common. And now we can sit here and argue all of these and have examples of each one. But I think, there are stereotypes come about for a reason.
Right. Usually
it's that sometimes they're true.
Yeah, that's the thing about stereotypes.
In some cases, they are.
A lot of those emerging patterns are, whether it's a stereotype or not, that's where they usually come from, is some stem of the truth is then generalized across the entire spectrum.
But I think for those listening or those a part of Dudes to Dads, the idea is hopefully that they are not part of these stereotypes.
Right.
And that's what we're sort of pledging.
If you are, shame on you.
Yeah. Also, before we get started, please, we'd like some reviews. We've talked about that before.
Yes.
The reviews help us. So if you could do a 5-star review, obviously if you think it's worth 5 stars,
sure, in
iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere else.
Or even on the website, just if you're looking at it and want to make a comment or you want to write in.
Yeah, we like feedback.
Dudesadads.com. Write us in and see what you're going. But the star reviews help a lot in these podcatchers. So make sure you go there, leave a review.
Podcatcher. It sounds like something from Star Wars.
I know, it does.
Pod Racer.
Pod Racers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Leave it in the podcatchers. You'd even say, hashtag
we love you. Dudes to Dads.
Use the force. Whatever you want to do.
I actually hashtagged the other day. Not like out loud. Like it was so bad.
Yeah.
Because somebody was taking a picture of something.
Yeah.
I forget where I was. And it just was it was like a younger person taking a picture at the resort or something like that. And it just didn't make sense because they're taking a picture of their food or something. And it was hashtag life is great. like I said it out loud. It was funny at the time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Just what is this person going to...
stereotyping them.
Yeah, like what is this person going to hashtag?
Yeah.
We're all like kind of making comments and stuff. Anyways. I shouldn't have been.
No, I think those things, to be honest with you.
You just don't say it out loud?
Just don't say them. Yeah.
Oh, I'm one of those guys that actually says it out loud.
Yeah. Well, give me enough, cocktails. I think I'll say it out loud too.
All right. So here are some stereotypes. And maybe we can back some of this up. Maybe we can't.
Okay.
Or we can dispel it. Dads care more about having fun than parenting.
Don't we all?
Well, that's interesting. And I think that probably came about because people thinking that dads don't want to parent.
Yeah. Or they can't have fun while parenting.
Right.
Like parenting is a job, and then
it's not like it can't be fun.
Yeah.
No, that's very true.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: all of these stereotypes, they're obviously, you are going to find people that do this. Mm-hmm. I'd like to think that myself and the people in the circle and the people that I know aren't like that.
Right.
But you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just trying to think, while I'm talking is like, but I don't, everyone likes to have fun, but like you said, I think you can combine those two.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's some of the secrets of parenting techniques that you learn. It's like, make them clean up. Well, make it a game.
Yeah.
Like you can make it fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the idea here is that, if there's a dad watching the child, it's a little bit chaotic. They're just about playing games, mm-hmm. and they're not necessarily concerned about being serious.
Right.
But like you said, it can be both fun and parenting.
Yeah.
So that's the second one. Dads can't cook.
Yeah. And I think that should be dispelled. Maybe there's some that are out there, but I know, I know there's people way better cooks than
Obviously,
I am,
they've never heard of the barbecue.
Yeah. Obviously, they've never heard of fast food before.
Right. Well, some of the greatest chefs in the world are men.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, I don't know. What is like all of a sudden when they become a father, they forget how to cook?
Yeah. I think that's becoming less and less apparent because I think the more and more men are getting into cooking and
for sure.
Especially with the...
Well, it's funny. I go, I told you I go to these campouts.
Yeah.
And, we go to various locations and we go camping with the kids. The dads are so into the food.
Yeah.
Like it is, it's not a competition.
Sure.
But essentially it's like, okay, I'm going to make an avocado aioli sauce to go on the turkey roll. I mean, it's like, just throw some avocado on it.
Exactly. Yeah, this doesn't need to be a Chef
Ramsay.
Ramsay
glaze with it's like, no, just throw it on there.
Yeah, if you're doing anything with aioli at a picnic.
Oh, it's so funny though.
Remove yourself from it.
Did anyone saute the mushrooms? We eat like kings. I mean, it's so awesome. I say that but the people who are really into the cooking are just awesome to have there.
Yeah, oh sure, sure.
And
that's hilarious.
It's total glamping because it's like we're not just having hot dogs and hamburgers. We're having these guys are making and it's funny too because they'll make it on these skillets that they bring or whatever, and it's camping. I mean, you're bringing this stuff along.
Sure.
But some of the food is just incredible.
Oh yeah, and
tri-tip glazed, blah blah blah.
Smoked this and all kinds of that, and they put it in this big thing that has the right temperature, and you add mesquite to it.
Totally,
I've seen all that. I'm like,
they start in the morning for the midnight dinner. Yeah. It's just like, come on, it's crazy. So yes, they can cook.
Yeah.
And these are all very proud dads.
Oh, sure.
Quite well. Dads can't express their feelings.
Yeah.
Now that hurts my feelings.
I'm going to express it to somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that one, I think men in general, that's an interesting stereotype because men in general are less feeling focused than thinking focused.
And a lot of previous episodes we've done here have covered the empathy factor because we know that stereotype is actually more true than not, whereas men aren't really good about communicating or expressing their feelings very well. And maybe they don't do it in the healthiest of manner, and maybe they don't really empathize with people.
Well, you just touched on something is I think men do express their feelings. They just do it in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, if you are somebody who is aware that that's how that person is expressing their feeling, meaning they're not just like a guy is not sitting there explaining and telling you with his mouth,
right.
This is what I'm feeling right now.
Right.
Instead, he's getting angry. That is expressing your feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so whether you get angry or you act out or you're quiet or that is expressing your feelings in itself.
Yeah. Right.
So I think maybe this list was made by women. We didn't talk. So maybe we should change it to dads can't talk about their feelings.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's probably
a
better way of phrasing it. I would agree with that because, like you said, certain actions or lack of actions are a way of expressing yourself. So, but talking is definitely, like you said, it's probably not the most common way. Hey, let's talk about my feelings right now.
Right.
It's more like either yell about your feelings and try to get it over the other person, or don't talk at all and just walk away from it and
I'm going to write it down.
I feel like a lot of dads do one or the other. They don't really I think. This is another stereotype. I think with I've noticed with more women, they'll be more they'll kind of ignore it and you won't know that they're feeling a certain way until later,
Right.
But with men, this, they're upset right away.
Maybe we need to do a
or
mom
they walk
list.
away. Yeah, I think we should.
Mom stereotypes.
Yeah. That dads have.
That'll go over really well.
We got to get
I'll let you do that one.
torches and pitchforks outside.
I'll let you do
office.
that one. I don't want to hear that.
I don't mind.
Yeah. This list of women stereotypes was brought to you or created by Alan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ladies.
Jason had nothing to do with it. I swear, honey. Anyways. So the fourth one, dads who stay home are weak.
I imagine that one's a more frequent one now because of the advent of more stay-at-home dads. I imagine when our parents grew up, there was way less stay-at-home dads.
Right.
There's more. The dads were the ones who bring home the bacon. The mom fries it up.
Yep.
Whereas now, because
That's such a funny saying.
I like that. It's such a crazy saying. Yeah,
Beans don't burn on the grill.
Yeah. There's another callback to our generation, and I think that men take an active different roles now, and so are women. So we're changing a lot of the stereotypes and breaking through a lot of the stereotypes, but because of those older stereotypes from older generations are now carried over into this, and we still think along those lines.
Well, I think men would perpetuate this stereotype.
Exactly.
Yeah, but here's what's funny.
From other men, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. If there's any guy or dad who thinks that staying home and watching children and taking care of children is easy,
right?
I invite them to do it for a multiple days.
Yeah, not just one day.
Right.
Do it for
multiple
a week.
days.
Yeah.
As being the only person there.
Yeah.
During the day, whatever, as whether it's feeding, napping, doing whatever. It's funny. I used to think, because my wife stayed home with our first child. She stayed home for a little bit, before she went back to work and stuff. And I remember feeling so jealous, as if she wasn't doing anything.
Yeah,
it was sort of fun. Because I didn't know. They're like, oh, well, we went to the beach. We went here. I was like, wow, it sounds like a vacation to me.
Yeah, you hear all the good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I then remember watching I was watching my son for a couple days.
Yeah.
It was like, oh goodness, I need a break. Now I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
What is so? I was, before thinking, oh, what's so hard? What? You didn't even get the mail today?
Yeah, you got to bend over and put DVDs in the like a Bill Burr bit.
And it's something that until you do it and until you're in that spot, you just don't have the appreciation. Which many things are like that,
right?
But it is by far. Well, there are some hard jobs out there. I won't say it's the hardest job.
No, it's not like, mining
dirty
for coal
jobs or But it is difficult.
It's
and especially because you don't have any of I remember the time freedom, where my wife would say, it's like, I just want to be able to go to the bathroom by myself. Especially when they're really young and then they start to walk and you have to watch them.
Just take for granted.
Yeah. The idea that, to take a nap was just so awesome.
Yeah.
That they could take a nap because then you get an hour of peace.
Right.
And that's why I said, if for any of you have a quote traditional household, household where the man is working and the woman is not, and a man doesn't appreciate the wife being there and taking care and thinking that it is easy, they need to switch roles for a little bit.
No, for sure.
Because it will wake you up.
Yeah.
It totally woke me up. I had such a different appreciation for it. And I think I remember too, like my wife went out of town, even though I had both kids. And this was another one too. It's like, they don't think that you can take care of the kids by themselves.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Taking care of the kids by yourself.
Right. Segue into another one, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, that is one that's farther down. But until you take care of them and watch them for a longer period of time on your own, you really don't realize it.
Right.
You won't realize how taxing it can be, especially when they're young. Now that they're older, like my kids are 5 and 7, it's not the same.
Yeah, and you can reason with them differently.
No,
you can interact
and
with
my
them
kids
now.
play with each other. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's a totally different experience when you have a baby or a toddler.
Right, where there is no reason.
No, it's food.
Yeah.
Feeding, bathroom, changing, sleep,
right?
And it's a constant.
Entertain me, whatever's going on. Where are you?
Yeah. Well, and also too, because I'm a stressful person, it doesn't help. If you're much more relaxed, I'm sure it's a much greater experience to enjoy it.
Covered on episode 50 of the stress episode.
I think if I was to go through it now, I would be different. Now, I mean, it definitely was different with our second child than it was with your first.
Yeah.
You have a different, outlook on it.
Sure.
So, so that's something. So number 5, the stereotype that dads don't like to spend quality time with their kids.
Yeah.
I think dads, and moms do too, obviously, who are working. And we've talked about this, the balance of life and or balance of work life and home life.
Right.
And I think all of the dads that I know love spending time with their kids, and I think if anything feel guilty for not spending enough time with their kids.
Yeah.
I know I felt that way.
Right.
Where it's it's this double-edged sword of feeling like, okay, I know I need to work and I have to work and I have to be productive, and especially being self-employed, I got to work a lot. But I really want to spend the time with my kids. So, how do I do that? And how do I do both? And how do I spend the time with my kid and not think about work?
Right.
Because that's the other hard part. It's like, okay, I'm going to go spend the time with my kid and don't think about work.
Yeah.
Like for me, I go on those like weekend trips. I don't think about work when I'm on those trips, and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But during the week, I see them a little bit in the morning and then a little bit at night, but you're gone the whole day.
Right.
And you don't get to that chance to connect. And they're like a day like today where it's after work. Although I took them to school today, but it's after work.
Yeah.
They're asleep now.
They're asleep. Yeah.
They're asleep. I will come home and I didn't get to see them tonight.
Right.
So if that happens a couple days in a row, I start to feel a little weird.
Left out.
Yeah.
No, it's
what's your name again?
Yeah. Which one are you? Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just so number 6, the stereotype that dads are messy and unorganized.
Yeah.
I would venture to say that's the opposite.
For you.
Well, no, but I'm saying we're both kind of
you're saying
organized.
You thought it was more the opposite than
No, I think in general I have a tendency to think that women are more messy.
You think so?
I do.
I'm the opposite.
I'm not saying grown.
Messy,
you know what I think of? I think of college.
Comparison.
I think of college.
Girls I do in college, I will say.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's where my mind goes back to, like thinking
I
of
had a
roommates
half and half. I had some people that I knew, women and men, that were super neat and organized, and then some were just complete slobs. Way worse than I was.
It's funny because I look at like some of the guys that I know, and they're all like really well organized.
Yeah. Well, you hang out with people that are like you, like.
But I'm not. Well, I wouldn't even say that I'm that organized. I think my friends are more organized than I am.
Because you're all really hard on yourself.
No. But I'm saying I'm not fanatical about organization. Like I really am not. I'm not. I like to. We always will joke about my wife and I put things away. Mm-hmm. But don't dust, if that makes sense. Like things it's not cluttered.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But I'm not one to like really clean it.
Yeah. There's I get what you're saying.
Whereas I know I know a couple people where it's like, everything is spotless.
Right.
Hangers are in the right order. And I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, and it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
Goes back to different things.
So I don't know. I guess in the end,
It's again,
It's dependent.
relative.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on who
So
you
I take
compare
back my
yourself to.
statement.
Retract statement.
Retract statement, edit in
Or edit it.
digital something. Whatever you digital editors do. Yeah. See, I never said it. So what's number 7? That dads don't like housework. Does anyone love housework?
I was gonna say I don't think moms like it. They just do it and they don't complain about it.
It's true.
You know, it's just the man who's like,
complain.
oh, I gotta do this now. It's like, yeah.
So maybe we don't like house. Maybe that stereotype is true.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know I
don't
gotta
know.
do it.
That's not true. I mean,
I just know you got to do it. That's got to be done. You know?
yeah, it's hard to explain to your children about like cleaning when you don't like cleaning either.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're trying to tell them to clean. You're like, well, it's just something that we have to do. We have to put stuff away before we take something else out. You know?
Right.
And it's like, I don't want to clean either.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally understand why you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But like, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like it's necessary.
Yeah, I know.
It's part of life.
And then the last thing, number 8, which we kind of touched on, was dads can't take care of the kids by themselves.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I recalled like when my kids were really small and like taking them to the grocery store and people looking at you like, wow, you're with 2 kids by yourself.
Right. Whoa. Good
You're
job.
a male. Like, how did you do that? You know, I don't know how I did it.
Yeah, right. Well, sedative helps.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. See how they have a lollipop? That's how it works.
Slip him a Mickey lollipop.
He has a lot of tricks. But yeah, that's, I guess that's what people think is like that the dads can't take care of themselves, which we touched on, like, if your spouse is going away or, but there are scenarios. I remember hearing a story. It was a friend of mine and the wife had said she had never left more than like a day and a half by herself.
Right.
Or like by himself with the kids.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was just by choice or by, she didn't want to leave, but basically, he's never done that.
And I wonder if it's more prevalent, and the answer is probably yes, but more prevalent with babies versus when they're older.
Yeah,
like you said, your kids now, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I can look back and actually recall not feeling really comfortable when my wife was like gonna go somewhere because she was the primary caregiver. I mean, she was at home more, and so she just was awesome. Like even at night, taking care of the kids because I was working or whatever. And I remember like there was those times where she had to leave or go away and take a break, and I'm like, okay, I can't say anything, but what am I going to do?
Yeah.
How am I going to entertain them for this long? And that's because you're just learning. You're learning how to do that.
There's probably a really innate response where the mom can feed the kid, when they're little, right? You can't. If you don't have mom's milk or something that's comparable to that, let's just say just using your body, there's nothing you can do at that moment. It's like I can hold you and change you probably and make sure you're okay and protect you from wolves, as a caveman or whatever it is. But the mom has the real connection with them at that age, and then as they get older, then it becomes a little bit more. We can pass to shift that responsibility.
Yeah, like now, I mean, if my wife goes away, there's not an issue. I don't think about. I mean, I do still think, okay, well, how can I, what can we do for this time?
Right.
But it's not a stress.
Yeah.
It's whereas, if anything, I think of it more as like a fun, like, okay, cool, I get some time, I can play with them, I can get some concentrated time.
Yeah.
Whereas back when they were smaller, it becomes a little bit of a like, oh, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to handle this? I'm a little fearful of I remember when my kids started walking and how scary that was. Yeah. And just like, okay, I got to watch them. I got to make sure I'm always on them, and they get into drawers and they get into stuff. I mean, it's just, there's that stage was the hardest, I think. Well, yeah, I mean, the terrible 2s and 3s are, but when they're walking, they start talking, they're grabbing everything, they're defiant, there's a reason they call it that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, for anyone who goes through that, it is just not an easy time.
Right.
I see like a 2 or 3 year old who's like running around like crazy. I'm just like, I feel so bad for the parent, because like you just have to get through that stage.
Yeah, right.
And my kids are wonderful, but doesn't matter. It's like at that time, it's just the energy level, and the defiance and the challenge and everything. And you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can reason with them.
Yeah. That's the problem I have with the little kids.
Wasn't that a Brady episode? Just reason with them.
Yeah.
He's not going to reason.
It's not going to work.
Buddy Hinton's not going to reason with them. So in addition to, we went over, 8 dad stereotypes that, we're not necessarily fond of. There's some things that you can do to dispel stereotypes.
As a dad.
I think as a dad in general, and these are pretty broad strokes here that we're talking about. The first one is change your child's diapers. Because I think, the common thing is like dads don't do diapers.
Right.
I received a T-shirt when my son was born that said, "This dad does diapers." Somebody gave that to me.
That's funny.
I think I told you a story of a gentleman in a gym.
Yeah.
When I was having a child, my first child, and he said, he heard that I was having a kid or whatever, and he's like, and he was an older guy, and he's like, I had 4 children, they're now grown. He's like, but he was really proud. He said that he never changed a diaper.
Right. Yeah.
And I looked at him and I go, okay, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
but why would you think that that's cool?
Yeah,
that you never changed your. I hope you're close with your kids. That's cool.
Yeah.
But that's
maybe
not a good way to start.
In other ways,
that's not a good starting point.
I know, right? Yeah.
So doing that. Another is taking parental leave. So the idea is, when you're having the baby, take some time off. Get to know the baby. You're only going to have that opportunity at that time, that initial stage. It's pretty special, that feeling. It's pretty scary too, actually. I remember bringing our son home, and my wife and I, we looked at each other. We had him on the bed, like still in the car seat. We're like, okay, now what do we do? Like, he's home. Great. Like we just have to keep it alive, right?
Right. Exactly. Make sure it's breathing.
Totally.
That's all.
We got the instruction to give it food.
The manual.
It food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure it sleeps.
Don't feed it after midnight.
Totally. It was so wet. Funny though. I mean, we were laughing because we're looking at each other going,
that's hilarious.
I mean, like we cleared the weekend to make sure, because it was on like a Thursday or Friday. We're like, okay, we're just going to stay home. We've got this new bit. And it's so funny because you're just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, now what do I do with it? And then it's even more funny is when you have a second one and you bring it home to an environment that's already there.
Yeah. And
how you adjust and all that.
I imagine that a lot of that's alleviated after the second one. Like,
no, there's just a whole bunch of different challenges, like introducing
the first
child,
second.
which there was so much build up to it that our son could not wait. I mean, he just could not wait to have a little sister. And we were just looking at some of these pictures of when she first came home, and my daughter, and his eyes and his like excitement. Oh, it was hilarious because he was so excited to have this little thing. He just wanted to touch her and grab her and whatever. I mean, because he was still little.
Yeah,
he was like 2 years old.
Right. Yeah.
So he just knew it was something coming into his environment, but we were very conscious to make sure that like it was a very positive experience, because you got to be careful.
Right.
Like all of a sudden there's this other thing getting attention.
Yeah, and there could be that jealousy issue and all that.
But she got him a present.
Yeah.
So like right from the start.
Yeah.
Like some scooter or something.
Got this from the womb.
Yeah. So take parental leave.
Yeah.
That's an important one. Take some time off. Challenging gender stereotypes. I think that's something too, even as a dad, we often will think that like girls need to do this and boys need to do this.
Yeah.
And maybe kind of blending that or not being so strict with it. And I was just talking about this actually. We were in a pool, like a resort pool.
Yeah.
And I was playing really rough with my son. Like his choice, he was climbing on me in the pool, and like we're kind of wrestling, and then like I'd lift him over my shoulders and then like throw him,
Yeah.
But it's interesting how I didn't necessarily think of that as with my daughter.
Right.
Because she would probably enjoy it.
Yeah. But she's also a little younger.
True.
Yeah.
True. But I consciously was thinking about it like, oh, you know what? I should probably grab her and do that.
Throw her around too.
Well, so I did like I kind of then started playing with her a little bit and like lifted her up and threw it. Yeah, you're right. She is younger.
Yeah.
But part of that is like, and I had to be honest, my initial thought wasn't like, oh, I'll just do it with both kids. It's like, we are a little bit rougher.
Yeah.
And do that, because I don't know that, even at that age, equally, I would have, let's say they were twins.
Yeah.
Do you do the same things with them?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But why not? There's no reason not to.
Right.
I mean, my daughter, especially, like, she is totally capable.
Oh, sure.
She is a tough little girl. She's totally capable of doing all the things that he was able to do at that age.
Yeah.
She's in martial arts. We've now made a little bit more conscious effort to make sure that she's allowed to do all those things.
Right.
And, like if I'm going to go throw a ball, I throw a ball with her too.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a really good one, because I think throwing a ball is typically a male thing. It's like sports in general almost become male. I mean, I know it's not true when they get older and they play soccer and stuff like that. But like when you typically think of kids,
want to play dolls.
Yeah, they want to play dolls and they want to run around, and throw the balls around. So that whole thing, I feel like I would want to treat either gender child the same in that context.
You'd think that you do, and unfortunately
it doesn't
it's
happen.
Weird.
I know it's a conscious thing you have to do. I realize that. So but I'm
and
hoping.
even so they do, because of the environments and the friends, everything else, they do begin to like different things. It was funny.
But I hope you do the same thing. I want my daughter to be able to kick butt if she needs to.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Because there's guys out there who are going to try stuff.
Tough, so,
yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, you got to get that.
My wife's the tough one.
There you go.
Yeah. So challenge gender stereotypes. I think and the same thing for a boy. If a boy is going to do activities that would be considered more girlish, they want to dance or do something else, like that's fine.
Yeah.
Teach them the ability to do that.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think that's important. Leave work early to help with childcare. Mm-hmm. So, in other words, and don't call it babysitting, because it's your own child.
Yeah, I think we talked about that in the previous episode as well. If you call it babysitting, wait a minute,
it's called
yours.
Taking care of your child.
Yeah.
Don't call it, I have to babysit tonight. Yeah. But and what that is, same thing as parental leave, or same thing with leaving work, is especially if you have coworkers, it's allowing them and the people around you to see how important your children are to you. Yeah. And that's not something that you should feel bad about.
Right.
And I don't think guys do, but oftentimes, it may be thought of differently from others. Mm-hmm. But the people who are doing that don't think that.
Yeah, of course.
But that could be the thing. And then a fifth thing is, do stuff around the house, clean. Yeah. Cook, whatever, that, be a part of the house. And, I don't think there's any harm in having roles.
Yeah, I was going to say some people might be better at doing certain things, but that being said, I think you should share responsibility.
You do. And I think it depends on how much work you have, how much, whatever. Yeah. I mean, my wife and I think have, at least I say this, a good division of labor. Meanwhile, around the house, she does a lot more than I do. Yeah. But I then have more hours of work. Yeah. So it's if you're a team, you're both feeling like you're contributing and that the other person's contributing, and you're not feeling like the other person is doing less their part. Right. However, you don't really want to keep score. That was a whole other thing,
and there is a tendency to do that, regardless of, I do more of this than you do, and yada yada, and
Yeah, I mean, people do that. I didn't say I do that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
No, because I will say, I'll admit, my wife does a lot more around the house than I do. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful for that, though. It's not
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, she knows that. She knows
you're
that
not taking it for granted. You're going, no, I'm totally appreciative of this. I'll make sure that I bring home more bacon.
Right. So you can cook it. Because Alan said that's what
women should be doing right now.
I make the bacon, what did you say? Oh, I bring home the bacon.
You fry it in the pan.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so what, like 60s?
I think it's
50s?
Probably even before that. Yeah, it's like I think it was a song that had that in there, some lyrics in there.
Well, that's why I said the Jefferson, wasn't it? The burn on the grill.
Yeah, something. Don't burn in the kitchen. Don't burn in the grill. I forgot it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, with that,
we are quoting Jefferson's.
it is late.
It is late.
What time is it?
It's late.
It is late.
The clock just says
We
late.
got to get this podcast out. So with that, we thank you for another episode of Dudes to Dads.
Podcast at dudesTodads.com if you have any comments, and iTunes and Stitcher for people who are listening and want to help us out. Make sure you leave reviews.
Dudes to Dads.
Hashtag Dudes to Dads. Hashtag awesome.
Twitter, Dudes to Dads. Facebook, we're on there too.
Yeah, it's true.
They can find us at any of the social handles.
Yeah, most of them.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
It's kids these days.
We don't yet have a Snapchat, do we?
No.
Or Periscope?
Not really. We did a couple Blab episodes.
We did.
Yeah, we have to get back into that. Yeah.
That was I was supposed to get a new laptop.
Whatever.
Put it on my list.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you again. And Alan, thank you.
Thank you.
And have a great week.
Have a good one.
See you.